morning once again, and welcome to the Haven Financial Group radio show. Thanks for listening. Feel free to give us a call anytime. Questions, worries, concerns, reservations. Maybe you heard something on the show today. 612-504-8400. Visit us online, havenfinancialgroup.com. All kinds of great retirement tools, a very interactive site. Our clients share recipes and pictures and their favorite pets and all kinds of good fun stuff. And then all of our educational events on site at our education center. I'll just draw some attention to some Social Security we have in the month of July, and in Lakeville, New Prague, Inver Grove Heights. We have a dinner workshop, retirement workshop, all experts in one room. It's at Porter Creek in Burnsville, coming up August 10th and 11th. We don't do many dinner workshops, hardly at all. This will fill up. It's, again, Porter Creek on the 10th and 13th at 6 o'clock. They will fill up. All the experts in one room, from our certified financial planners and the investment team to our estate planning professionals, from provision law to Lance, our CPA, Glenn, Isabella, and Medicare. All of these topics are discussed kind of with a wide brush there. So I encourage folks, education is how we meet a lot of people. It's how we help a lot of people. And then that leads to a lot of families referring us to their friends, neighbors, and others that can benefit from the services, all the retirement services that we offer, as I kind of allude to, all the retirement puzzle pieces that need to be part of the same puzzle, more so than ever, especially as you're planning for retirement.
612-504-8400. That's how you reach the folks at Haven Financial Group. We're talking about a lasting financial plan when it comes to retirement. And we've talked about estate planning, and we've talked a bit about real estate and how that can play a role in both estate planning as well as building a retirement plan. Well, let's talk a little bit about estate planning with Roth IRAs. They can play a role in all different stages, certainly, of your life. So I think what we should do, Larry, for those who maybe don't know what a Roth is or how it is different from other IRAs, maybe you could just explain that off the top here.
Yeah, Roth IRA, it is a long-term investment. It's usually the last thing people touch. I'll touch a variety of reasons. It's after-tax money. It grows tax-free, and it's tax-free when it's taken out. Anytime we can say after tax, tax-free, those are some really nice words we really like to talk about. But oftentimes people don't have as much in a Roth as they wanted to, and it's a variety of reasons. Number one, they hadn't been part of the employer plans for that long, 10, 15 years, or maybe it's a little longer now as time flies. So that might be a reason. Maybe you're a high income earner and you couldn't put it in and get the tax benefits, whatever it was. It's usually the last thing people touch, and oftentimes it's the best way for beneficiaries to inherit, because oftentimes when beneficiaries inherit, they're in their high income tax bracket. Well, that's a great way to pass on a Roth because it's tax-free rather than pre-tax traditional IRAs. They will be taxed at their current income level, income tax rates. So we like Roths. We want to get as much as possible in there. So maybe you're listening and go, well, this is my situation. This is my age. Should I do 50-50 in my 401k between pre-tax and Roth? Come in and talk to us about it. It's based on your circumstances. As you get older, maybe you want to put more in pre-tax. But again, it comes down to income. If you're younger, I encourage you to get as much in that Roth as possible, even if it doesn't have the full tax benefit. So it comes back to this tax discussion.
Sure.
Again, tax-free to beneficiaries. It's usually a long-term investment. Oftentimes we'll take a little more risk in that part of the portfolio because it is longer term. So again, we like Roths. Only thing we like better is making sure you max out that health savings account, okay? Because that's also tax-free in, tax-free growth, and tax-free out. Again,
anything tax-free, we like that.
We do. And Lance, our CPA, he doesn't. I'll tell you what. There's a guy, a CPA, that actually has a personality that likes to explain things, and he wants to make sure Uncle Sam doesn't get any more than they deserve, because they will take it, Kim, if you elect to give it to them.
Absolutely. He's got his hand out at all times, that's for sure.
For sure.
Let's talk a little bit about the importance, though, of these Roth IRAs. As you've said, you want to convert gradually. Taking maybe some of your dollars out of your traditional retirement accounts and slowly but surely moving those over to Roth accounts. Designate beneficiaries carefully is something that people say. Why is that the case? Why is that so important here?
Well, there's rules that changed in the last 5 years when it comes to IRAs, Roth IRAs, or traditional IRAs. Nowadays, as part of the Secure Act, IRAs and 401 IRAs, pre-tax and Roth, they pass if you're married to your spouse, but then the kids would have to drain that in 10 years. If you kept it in a 401k, which is why you don't want to do that when you retire, those would have to be taken out in 5 years. Well, naturally, pre-tax in 5 years, that means tax revenue is a lot faster. And again, you worked hard. Why give it all to Uncle Sam?
Mhm.
So we want to make sure we have the beneficiaries current, up to date. Um, so how do you get as much as possible into a Roth? One, start putting as much in now.
Mhm.
But what we deal a lot with as we're tax planning, and what we see is oftentimes a lot of people early in retirement, maybe they haven't turned on Social Security. It's why we teach classes on that. They're delaying for a good reason. Maybe if they have a pension, they're delaying for a good reason. And what we see is oftentimes there's some lean years of income. Maybe they're living off saving, whatever it might be. That is an opportunity where we want to look every year based upon your income, fourth quarter, I don't care, whatever the circumstances, to see if Roth conversions, which is simply IRA pre-tax to the Roth, pay tax now, low bracket, or pay more tax future.
Mhm.
Pretty easy answer to that question. We want to do it in a methodical way, probably over several years, over time. Again, maxing out that 12% ordinary income tax bracket, which can get us as much pre-tax, because when you get to that RMD age, which for many is 73, and in 6 years it goes to age 75, we want to minimize tax the tax situation. We can do that by paying 12% ordinary income tax bracket today, or what will be in 3 years, probably 15 or 18, or who knows.
Right.
But it only guarantees to 12% for 3 more years. So forward thinking tax planning. However, why is it weekly? Do I have discussions? We have discussions with folks that, oh, married filing jointly, your income last year was what, 80,000? Did you do a conversion? Oh, no, nobody told us about it. Oh, that would have been a what, 50, 60, $70,000 opportunity. Well, think of that over 5, 6, 7 years.
Sure.
Wow. Unforced error, missed opportunity. And it's because many people are not having the tax planning discussion. They don't have a partner that's holding them accountable, that they can lean on, and giving them a good advice, sound advice as it relates to retirement and tax planning. That's the missing link for a lot of people today, and a lot of listeners that are listening to our show, which I highly encourage you become more proactive in the planning process, in tax planning, and all this other stuff that we're talking about on a weekly basis.
Absolutely. These are the things, we try to stress every week, Larry. These are the things that having a partner, the real benefits that people can glean from having that partner who understands and knows this. The average person does not know these things, would not recognize these things. This is not something you do on a regular basis. So having a partner like the folks at Haven Financial Group would turn you on to this kind of information that could save you tens of thousands of dollars. Before we go to a break, I want to ask you though about how you use these Roth IRAs to plan for inheritance purposes. I mean, is there something that you do differently? What do you need to do to put that money in there again so that the next generation can benefit from Roth IRA?
Yeah, simply the Roth IRAs, just like others, they have beneficiaries. And
Hmm.
when you pass away, the beneficiaries will have to go through they'll request a packet, the death certificate, all the things that unfortunately we have to deal with. But they're important, and then they inherit it tax free, rather than the pre tax, which is all going to be taxable as you take it out. So again, very good way to pass on for beneficiaries. Again, if you need access to the money, obviously liquidity is important. So I say that because every conversion, there's a restriction on their earnings that can be taken out. So There's a 5-year waiting period on earnings. Make sure that fits into your
Yeah,
plan. If you
sure.
have good liquidity and you have a well balanced, diversified portfolio, for most, that's not an issue, but it is part of the discussion to make sure. And then also, when we talk about Roth conversions, then we also, again, this is why everything's interlinked. It can affect Medicare premiums.
Mm,
We just had somebody in, their advisor a couple of years ago thought it was this great idea to do this massive IRA to Roth conversion. Great concept. However, it pushed them over the Medicare threshold, and it cost them, it didn't save them, it cost them thousands of dollars, because now with the 2-year look back was the conversion. Their advisor didn't know any better. Their advisor didn't coordinate with the Medicare or the insurance person or the investment person. I like what they were trying to accomplish, but because there was no coordination amongst these retirement topics, it was a mess. It cost them money. It was a costly mistake that could have been avoided had there been some coordination amongst these topics. Unfortunate, but
yeah.
missed opportunities. We just don't want to do that.
No, we do not. We don't have the opportunity to make up for those in many of these situations. So you want to coordinate with professionals, and the professionals at Haven Financial Group would love to get together and coordinate with you. 612-504-8400 is how you reach them. Let them know that you've heard us here on the radio, that you'd like to come in and talk to them about estate planning. And in that estate planning, that might be Roth IRA conversions that you plan to leave for your loved ones, that might be putting together a trust, so on and so forth. And then beyond that, certainly while you're there with the folks at Haven, maybe it's time for you to put together a great retirement plan. And they certainly can help you with that. 612-504-8400. They can help you with all the puzzle pieces. It's one-stop shopping, folks, and that makes it terrific. 612-504-8400. When we come back, we're going to talk about multi-generational wealth planning. You're listening to the Haven Financial Group Radio Show.